Welcome back, friends, to another edition of the Artist Spotlight Show. And we have an amazing, multi talented lady that we're going to be introducing you. Her name is Deborah Wild. She's an interior designer,
Nope,
she's an
I'm just an
author.
author. Just an
Yeah,
author.
she's an author. And we're going to find out about her amazing career as being an author. We're going to find out about what she's up to. We're going to find out a lot about her today on today's show. It's being brought to you by Music Dreams USA Radio Worldwide. We play everything for everyone. Biker Babe Barber and Company. When it comes to live music, we've got you covered. Also, Table and Mike Productions and Eagle Street Corporation up in Nashville, North Carolina, and OTW Hauling. You have a big job, you need some help, they can help you. They go over and above the call of duty. It's OTW Hauling. They're up in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and surrounding areas. You want some more information? You can check them out on Facebook, OTW Hauling, and just let them know that you heard the ad right here on the Artist Spotlight Show. So, without any further ado delay, let's introduce you to Deborah Wild. Miss Deborah, welcome to the
Hello.
show. How are
Thank you for
you?
having me. I'm very well. How are you doing?
Well, I'm just like living the dream.
That's excellent.
So, what part of town are you in?
I'm actually in Canada.
What part of
Yeah,
Canada?
Vancouver on the West Coast.
I am super jealous. I heard I heard that Vancouver is a beautiful place.
It is. It is. It's pretty stunning here. Yeah, with the mountains and the water. I'm very lucky. Yeah.
I heard the food's amazing too.
Oh yeah, we have an amazing food scene. Yeah, especially a lot of great Asian food. Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah, one of these days I told myself I'm gonna come down to Vancouver.
You
I
absolutely
just
should.
love Canada as a whole. I mean, Mickey with a Creative Edge, he's got some really cool authors and really cool clients, and we're just so blessed to be have the opportunity to view them all. And so, it's been a blast. I mean, every time we interview someone from Mickey, it's always a good time.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So let's talk about Mickey. How did you and Creative Edge get together, and what has he done for your career?
It was actually through another client of his who's a friend of mine, and she knew I was looking to do more podcasts, and she very kindly introduced me to Mickey, and it was fantastic, and we just hit the ground running. And yeah, we this is I think we started working together early spring, and it's been wonderful so far.
Let me ask you this: for people watching now that will be watching later, who is Deborah Wild?
I am a urban fantasy author. I write funny, sexy stories with magical mystery and adventure, and heroines of different ages, including heroines over 40, which is fun to have in fantasy representation because you don't get that a lot.
Wow, that's gonna be my next question then. So, where did your fascination with with that come in play? I mean, what made you want to become an artist in that specific area?
I always used to write. I used to love writing. I read a ton as a kid growing up. I didn't really think author was a real job people could have. But I became a filmmaker and specifically a screenwriter. So I did that for 12 years. And due to changing conditions here in Canada, I wanted to see if I still liked writing. And so I sort of segued into writing books and seeing if I enjoyed that. And I just loved it. And I just basically went full time out of the gate and haven't stopped.
Being an author, obviously there's a lot of obstacles you have to overcome. What are some of those obstacles for you, and how do you overcome them?
Um, I think, a big one is that while it's really great that there's a landscape that allows people like me to be indie authors and to make our living being indie authors, it's constantly changing. So, I'll get up to speed on something and then it just completely changes. Or, Facebook, for example, which is where I do the majority of my advertising, they'll completely switch their algorithms, they'll remove targets. So you get a handle on it, and then suddenly the whole game is different. So it's just a lot of constant learning and relearning, and testing and figuring out what's working in a lot of ways. And then it's that constant discoverability. As more and more people, more and more authors enter the market, you're fighting more to be found by readers.
Do you consider that competition, or let me rephrase that? Do you consider that to be friendly competition, or do you feel maybe it's an opportunity with more, as you just said, right? There's more people getting into what you're doing. Could that be maybe a friendly competition, or could it be maybe there's more people to reach out to for collaboration?
Definitely the second. I'm really lucky. I have wonderful author friends and we lift each other up. We're constantly cross promoting our books, doing what we can to help each other. There's a lot of readers out there, so whichever one of us can find them or find a new pocket of them, we like to bring everyone else along, because in the end, it's all about sharing good stories, right? And so we want to connect people with good stories, whether they're ours or our friends, or total strangers. In my newsletter, I'm constantly recommending books I think my readers will like.
Let me ask you this: with you being an author, how do you, without giving away the family recipe, how do you build your audience?
It's well, I think it's changed. The model has changed. When I started in this pen name in 2017, I was exclusive to Kindle Unlimited, and there was a lot of reliance on the algorithms. I was really lucky that my first book and that series did very well right out of the gate. So I had the algorithm working in my favor. And then in 2022, I decided to go wide. And so that was okay. Now, how am I going to reach people at these different retailers? Because they were very different from Amazon. So it was about, for example, Kindle, you do a lot of in-house promotions with them. And, so it's learning all the ropes. What is that ecosystem? And then in 2023, I added my own bookstore on Shopify into the mix. And so again, it was like, all right, now I'm the bookstore. What am I doing? So that became really heavily Facebook ad targeted. And then there's the other things like my newsletter, my reader group, just the ways I can have direct relationships with my readers.
What does a day in the life for Deborah Wild look like?
I mean, it really depends on where I'm at. If I'm writing, then I try to protect that time and write in the morning, and then do sort of administrative stuff later in the afternoon. But it might just be, I'm thinking, if I'm trying to figure out my new series, there might be a month where I just am sitting and thinking and writing notes crazily and trying to sort of fill my well by going to a museum or going for a walk or just, watching a really good movie or, doing something to inspire me. So there's no set schedule. It sort of just depends on where I'm at with whatever given project.
So let me ask you this: with your characters, right? I mean, let's talk about your characters. I mean, I had an opportunity to check that out. You have various characters, right?
Mhm.
Do you have any favorite ones? If so, what character is your favorite and why?
Oh, that's tough. Um,
Oh, you can pick more than one if you want.
um, I mean, Nava, who was my first heroine I wrote, I will always have a very fond spot in my heart for her because she was just sort of a delicious mess who went through a lot of growth over the series. And it was really fun to write that and, put her through her paces. So I'll always have a soft spot for her. I loved writing Miriam, who was my first over 40 heroine, because I got to play with a lot of very different creative opportunities. Somebody who is going into a magic community and kicking butt and having mysteries and adventures and stuff. It's very different if you're in your 40s and you're a single mom and you have to worry about your daughter and dinner and, medical benefits or dental or, as
Mhm.
opposed to you're in your 20s and you can just do whatever. So that was really fun because also I got to bring a different kind of wisdom and my own life experiences into it and put that into Miriam.
Here's the question I want to ask. I mean, I've interviewed. I mean, this year. I mean, our show has really taken off this year. And one thing I love about our show, and we're interviewing a lot more authors now than we've ever had before. But I've also had this question, and I forgot to ask the other people. So I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
When it comes to characters, right? How do you come up with the characters, and how do you keep those characters? I mean, if you think about it, right, I'm from what I've gathered so far, the characters are really a real person, but they're just a character in the book. And so, how do you come up with the characters, and how do you keep that storyline going? Is it based on personal experiences, or maybe obviously you have to do your research, right? I mean, you're not just going to write a book to write a book. Obviously, there's a lot of research that goes into it. Can you help me and my listeners understand what does that process look like?
It really varies from book to book. Sometimes I'm starting with an opening scene. Sometimes I'm starting like with Miriam. It was this sense of feeling invisible in my 40s and how I wanted to move through the world. And then I came up with a character who has shadow magic and decides to reclaim it, and then what that journey of empowerment became. So it can come from all different places. It can come from plot, it can come from theme, it can come from a line of dialogue. I had one series, my Bedeviled AF series, it literally came because I thought the title Big Demon Energy was hilarious, just like a play on Big D Energy. And I just thought that was really funny. And nobody had written a book with that title yet. So I just put it up for pre order and went coming soon and was like, okay, I guess I need to figure out what the book is now. And luckily I did end up having ideas because there was stuff I'd been thinking about a half demon character. So it all worked out, but it literally can come from anywhere.
Another thing that I'm really fascinated by. You guys are so smart. I mean, you have so many words that go through your head. I mean, I'm a radio sports media host personality, right? I can never do what you do. How is that just like a gift? I mean, how are you able scenes and all these words and put it all together? I mean, obviously it's a special God-given talent you have. How does that work?
Well, you know, some of it or a lot of it is working at it. It's craft. I was lucky. I was a screenwriter for 12 years. So I got a really thorough foundation in structure and plot and theme. And dialogue has always been my happy place to write. I grew up on comedies and old Hollywood screwballs. And, I just love that rapid paced banter. So writing it sort of comes easy for me, and I love all the character stuff, like getting the interactions. For me, the fun of the books is, do people want to hang out with my characters? Yes, I want to have clever mysteries and really fun adventures and stakes and all of that, but at the end of the day, do they want to hang out with my characters? That's what I'm going for. So it's I guess it's also my own upbringing too, because I grew up in a family where we used humor to process a lot of stuff. So that is my default go-to, and it's my character's default go-to. So it's part craft, part training, part life experience.
Wow, that is so cool. I love it. I love it. So obviously you've had such a successful career. You've had many different projects, right? Let's
Mhm.
take a step down memory lane. Of all the things you've worked on, is there one project that really means so much to you? Not that you don't care about the other ones, but maybe this one is super special to you. What project would that be, and why?
I don't know that I have one. I mean, in my author career, I have four complete series, which is
Mhm.
25 books. And I'm putting out my fifth with the new book in the fall. Um, and they've all just been different enough that I can't say I would place one over the other. They've all been different and they've all really fit where I've been at the time. So yeah.
What kind of feedback are you getting? I mean, you have so much material out there right now, as you just said. What type of feedback are you getting in, and what attracts readers to what you're doing?
Um, well, I think they love the humor. I think that's a big one for them. I think a lot of people, especially now, are looking for humor. Again, it's my characters. People feel they're relatable. That's a big thing I get, that they really connect with the characters. They love the romance. Um, I don't actually read reviews. I stay away from any kind of reviews or anything. So the feedback I get, it's because people are emailing me back with my newsletters or in my Facebook reader group. But I don't like to read reviews because it can mess with my head. And reviews are for readers. It's not an author's place to step in on reviews, in my opinion. I think those are for readers and they get to be as honest as they want. But I just think it's better for my mental health to just let them have, good or bad, it doesn't matter. To just, that's their space, and I don't need to be part of their space. I've put out the best book I can, and I hope they'll connect. And yeah, and I enjoy chatting with the through the relationships I've built up. I really enjoy chatting with people, like in with my newsletter, with my reader group.
You know what my saying is? You can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all the people all the time.
Yeah, the thing is, there's no such thing as a universally beloved book. That's the reality. We've all got
Right.
different tastes, and that's okay. And that's why it's so great that there's so much out there, that everyone gets to choose. I know there are lots of books that people really love, and sometimes I'm like, am I the only person who doesn't like that? So I've had that experience as a reader as well, and that's okay. That's the joy of there being a lot of stories.
So since we've been interviewing like a lot of amazing authors just like yourself, right? So yesterday, before I started prepping for my morning show with Heather Daniels, I actually surfed the Facebook, and one thing I came across is there is tons of publishing companies, more than I think I've ever seen before.
Mm.
There's like so much promotion of publishing companies right now looking for amazing artists just like yourself. So here's my question. From my perspective, it looks like, the industry in which you're in is really growing big time right now. Could it be because of all the craziness going in the world right now? Could it be maybe people are just going through some really tough times and they're looking for an outlet, something they can read that maybe help them in a situation? What is your take on that? Do you agree? I mean, I think it's growing, right?
I think there's a lot of reasons for that. I think it's partially that it's pretty easy to publish a book on Amazon, which is great, you know. So I think because of that low bar, it's not like before, when the only option was to query agents and then get into the slush pile and then, hopefully have them read you and then like it and then send it out, to the different publishing companies. We can do it ourselves and we can get our stories out there. So I think that's one thing. I think for sure the state of the world, I know with COVID, there was a huge surge in reading, and in sales and reads, because we were locked down and people wanted some books are a relatively inexpensive form of entertainment, and they help people escape whatever genre people enjoy. It just takes them away for a little while. And I think when the world gets crazy, that's something I know I generate towards. I want to get lost in a good story.
Yeah, I'm like you as well. I like reading the action stories. I mean, I like those action
Mm.
things, like the A Team, you know,
Oh my
uh,
god, A
Texas
Team.
Walker,
Yeah.
Texas Walker.
Yeah.
I love those because I'm also a media investigator, so I go behind the scenes a lot and do a
Oh,
lot of different
cool.
things. Yeah, so um, I just think that this whole series about interviewing authors, right? It has been so much fun, and each, as you mentioned earlier in the interview, each author is different, obviously, and but so with that being said, what are some of the obstacles that you have to face, and what are they, and how do you overcome them?
Well, the big one right now is AI, in two different senses for me personally. One is, you know, there's a lot of AI material being flooded into the market, which means readers have to go through more things to find stories they connect with. And some of them will connect with stories that were written with AI. Um, it just means there's more of it out there and it's easier to put more into the market. The other thing is because of things like ChatGPT, where people are now going to those kinds of chatbots to ask, hey, what should my next read be? It's changed sort of the discoverability and what we need to do to be found. And so this whole thing of rather than search results, which was what I had gotten used to, it's this whole new era of GEO, and it's a massive learning curve. And I'm still trying to get my head around all of that, make sure my shop is doing all the things for compliance that will allow it to be found by these chatbots to recommend my books to readers. So that's the big one. It's really the marketing aspect of it for me and what this new technology means I have to do to be found.
Yeah, well said. I mean, a lot of people have said the same thing about, about the new technology that's coming out now. We just got done with an artist and now with yourself, and they kind of said the same thing where, we're human beings, and we have the talent to do our own thing. We don't need someone to come in and try to replicate what we do. And so, yeah, I would agree with you on that. Any other obstacles that maybe you're facing?
I think it's that, the world is a bit of an exhausting place right now. So sometimes it's hard to be funny, and get up and just crank out funny when, there's a lot of things happening in the world. So yeah, I think that can be, for sure, that's an obstacle.
In your amazing career, what's one memory that comes to mind right now?
Oh my goodness. Um, I
Hmm.
got to meet one of my author heroes, and it's a husband and wife team. They write urban fantasy. They're one of the most famous urban fantasy like authors in my genre there are. Alona Andrews, and I got to meet them at a reading in Texas that they were doing, and they graciously allowed me to present them with one of my books, and then insisted I autograph it to them. And I pretty much just died on the spot. They were just so lovely and kind, and yeah, so that was pretty great.
There's a lot of people that would love to be in the position you're in right now, up and coming authors. And some of them, we actually did a little study on this actually not too long ago on the morning show. And one of the things we found out, there's so much talent in the world, but people don't know where to go. They've got the talent, they may not have the money, but they've got the talent, but they don't know where to go for that. So for that new upcoming author that maybe one day would love to be in the same shoes you're in, what advice would you give them?
A great resource. I mean, there's a lot of really wonderful resources on Facebook. Start there, like there's one group called 20 Books to 50K, and that has a lot of resources for newer authors. There's another group for Wide for the Win. Again, tons of research for people who want to be at many different retailers instead of just Amazon. I think a big thing I would say to newer authors is don't feel like you have to do everything. There's a lot out there, there's a lot of options out there, but they're not going anywhere. So start with one sort of actionable thing that is manageable for you and do that. And then when you feel you can take on more, and that's okay.
Awesome. As we wind down our interview, I know we talked a lot about a lot of different things, but are you working on any new projects right now?
Yep. I'm actually launching a new series called Mad Queens Inc. And the first book, Gollum for Broke, will come out in uh, October. And again, it's got an over 40 heroine who runs sort of a magic fixer business, problem solving business with her three best friends. And it's what happens when a golem sort of does an assassination attempt on her and puts her and her very, very forbidden magic in the sights of the city's golem maker and the magical law enforcement.
How can our listeners are watching now, will be watching later, how do they get their hands on that amazing all the amazing work you're doing. How can we get some? How can we get that?
Well, my books are on all the major retailers, so Amazon, Kobo, Google, Apple, all of that. The best place to get it, though, if you want discounts, if you want to get them earlier than they release anywhere else, is to go to my Shopify store, and that's deborahwildbooks.com. And all my books are there, and that's where I do exclusive bundle deals. I do early releases. I'm able, because I can control the pricing, I'm able to sell, audiobooks for less than they are anywhere else. Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience?
Um, you know what? Just go out and lose yourself in a good book this weekend.
Hey, I'm raising my hand. I
Excellent.
have to go. I have to go to New York, so I have to go do an event. So now it's time for, we call it Fast Fire with
Okay.
Deborah Weil. Are you ready?
Okay, yes.
That's kind of concerning. You kind of like hesitate. You're like, okay.
I haven't
Trust
had my
me.
afternoon coffee yet, so we'll see how fast my brain's going, but go for it.
Trust me. Trust me on this.
Okay.
You're gonna love
Okay.
it.
Okay.
All right, here we go. All right. What is your favorite color?
Purple.
Okay. Now, a color you would never paint
Oh,
your bedroom with.
my bedroom with. Uh, Black.
Okay. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
A beach house or a mountain cabin?
Beach house.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
All right. Now, with this one, hardcover book, an e-book, or a paper book? Which one you going with?
Do I have to choose? They all have
What?
different. I have to choose one, huh?
This one.
Um,
I'm being
okay.
kind. I'll
All
give you
right, all
two,
right.
okay?
I'll go with paperback.
All right. Writing a book or creating a painting.
Oh, writing a book. No one wants to see me. I'd be doing stick figures. I'm terrible.
Okay. Do you like bright colors or earth tones?
Bright colors.
Okay. Now we're talking about music. While you're
Okay.
working on your books, on your projects and everything, with you're writing books and so on and so forth, is there a specific type of music you like listening to maybe kind of like get you into the thinking and all that good stuff?
It completely depends on what I'm writing. I've done everything from listen to soundtracks on repeat to listen to, 80s new wave to, dance pop to electronica, like lo-fi beats. It really depends on what I'm writing.
Okay. And that concludes the fast fire. You see, it was pretty
It
easy.
was,
So there you
yeah, it
go.
was, you were kind to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, Mickey's watching us too right now, so I gotta make sure I'm on my best behavior. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. You were absolutely amazing, and
Thank you
we're
so
gonna
much
bring you.
for having me.
It's definitely seriously, it's our pleasure. Don't we're gonna bring you back for part two, by the way.
Okay,
You,
excellent. I
you,
look forward to
yeah,
it.
yeah, you coming back.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for being on our show, and thank you for sharing what you did, and all the best in your amazing career. And if there's anything we can ever do for you, please let us know, and we'd love to help you out. But until that time, thank you for being on our show this afternoon.
Thank you so much. I really appreciated being here.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Again, Deborah Wild in the house, and we cannot thank her enough. What a great interview that was, and we had so much fun with her. I love the fast fire, though. That was probably one of I mean, the whole interview was amazing, but the fast fire, we got her to laugh. So that's a good thing. And if you're an upcoming aspiring artist looking to get your name out there, you're looking for a stage to tell your story, you found us. Music Dreams USA Radio, the Artist Spotlight Show is right here. You can reach out to us at info.musicdreamsusa@gmail.com. And again, our show is being brought to you by Music Dreams USA Radio. We play everything for everyone. Also, Biker Babe Barber and Company. When it comes to live music, we have got you covered. Also, OTW Hauling. You have a big job, you need some help. If you're in Myrtle Beach or surrounding areas, check those guys out. They go over and above the call of duty to help you. Go to Facebook, look under OTW Hauling, and they can help you. Also, Table and Mike Productions and Eagle Street Corporation up in Nashville, North Carolina. Until next time, thank you so much for watching the Artist Spotlight Show. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon on the Artist Spotlight Show.